Welcome to Estrogen Power Hour, episode 2.75. I am Keelin Ballou.
Hi, I'm Janice Scurrio.
I'm Chrystal O'Keefe.
Colleen Sullivan.
Yeehaw! Thank you all for joining us again. We're glad to be back. Sorry it's taken a little bit to come back. But we'll go ahead and get started. And one of the first things we wanted to talk about is, this is our episode 2.75, but our technically second one under the name Estrogen Power Hour. And we wanted to quickly address some of the feedback we got from some of our commenters on Southside Sox and
Our
a few
fans.
other places. Our biggest fans.
We love our
It's
fans.
always nice to hear from fans in the comment section of Southside Sox.
Yes.
The first part of this podcast is definitely fan service, where we will be addressing plenty of your concerns and telling you that how you're wrong.
Yeah.
Get ready
Stay
to be
tuned
roasted.
for that.
Yeah, so we just wanted to address that. Got a few comments that how is it that our name, you know, we're talking about wanting to be inclusive in this podcast, which we very much are working on actively. And we got a few comments saying that having estrogen in our name isn't inclusive, and we want to debunk that myth completely by telling you that everyone has estrogen.
Science says you're wrong. It's just, everyone has estrogen. It's just the amount.
If you passed biology your freshman year of high school, you would have learned that. Just so you.
I guess this is where I should come in and explain that I came up with the name as a joke. Essentially, I just wanted to think of the most outlandish thing that this podcast might be viewed as. And the first thing that came to mind was, oh my, it's an estrogen power hour. So yeah, everyone has estrogen. It's definitely, like first year biology. You should know that. I mean, and if you don't, go back to high school, or maybe you still are in high school and maybe you failed biology, but who am I to judge? You know what? So anyway, we also figured that, you know, the fact that we came up with the name is way better than, say, our boss man, Brett Valentini. If he came up with it, it would totally be cringe. It would absolutely be 100% cringe.
He did keep calling us the pirate show for a while.
Pirate radio.
The pirate radio.
Pirate radio. Okay, I'm Adam Frazier then, if this is pirate radio. like who are you guys? Or could Brian Hayes. I like him too. I could definitely be him as well.
I'm going to be Josh Bell before he goes to the Nationals.
I would be Andrew McCutcheon before he goes everywhere else. Or currently Gregory Polanco. I like Polanco a lot.
That's a good answer. It's a good answer.
I figured you would say Andrew McCutcheon, Chrystal.
We really should have just figured that.
So all of you are going for former Pirates too.
I'm Jim Leland.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Well, I mean, the whole truth of the matter is that, like, most former Pirates have gone on to play for much better ball clubs. So I guess maybe I should change my answer. I am Tyler Glass now. There you go. That is my favorite former Pirate.
Ooh, Austin Meadows as well. I would be Austin Meadows.
Yes, Austin Meadows. Fantastic answer right there.
Love him.
There you go.
Still Jim Leland. My only answer. Give me a sig.
Pirates, they have like cornered the market on fielding a team of just some guys. Them and the Orioles. The Orioles are really good at fielding some guys because you never know who's on their team.
That should be their marketing campaign. Just some guys.
Just some guys. I mean, like, it is. It's just some guys. I don't know who anybody is.
Me neither. I don't at all.
Oh my goodness.
Half the fans don't know who anybody is.
Yeah. Probably not. Well,
no, and that's not a knock on their fans. Like, that sucks, man. When you just have a team that you don't know who the fuck anybody is.
Yeah, like no stars. I mean,
you're like,
yeah. I feel like the Rays have made it not to the same level of the Pirates, but similar-ish. Like,
Yeah.
guys, and some of them are good, but no like stars per se. And it's like, shit, they're getting there. So
Yeah, and I think that part of that is just the philosophy of build up the team and sell it for parts. And that's like something the Pirates are really good at. They're really good at building up their team and then just selling off the pieces. It's like a corporate raider, but for a baseball team.
we're gonna merge.
Yeah. You can merge them with the Orioles.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Where is the home field?
No, I love both of those fields.
I haven't
I have not been to either
Camden.
one.
I was just at PNC, and PNC was beautiful. I absolutely had such a blast there.
You should jealous.
Tell us more about it, because I saw your pictures and they looked amazing. But
Yes.
Yeah, so I got an Airbnb about walking distance from the ballpark. It's super easy to get to on foot. Everyone was telling me that the parking situation is surprisingly really easy for a downtown metro area. And that's true. That's true. You could park in any of the garages around the stadium for $15, which in my opinion is a steal, because like paying
Yeah.
$25 at the G rate is essentially, yeah, just like being gut punched in the wallet every time. But yeah, fantastic walk. I took some time to go walk around the stadium a bit, look at the Adam Frazier posters that they had around the stadium, and like do some witchcraft into getting onto the White Sox. So we'll see if that works. Let's see. Yeah, so I had a nice walk across the Roberto Clemente Bridge. That was really beautiful, just right over the Allegheny. Yeah, just took some time, took some pictures, took in the atmosphere. I think the Pirates camera crew also got some shots of me admiring the Roberto Clemente statue as well. They asked me, they're like, hey, like, can we like take some video of you just like looking at the statue? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I haven't taken a picture in a while. Yeah. So I just walk up to it. I had no idea what the hell to do. So I just pulled out my phone and I started just taking pictures of the statue. I was like, wow, what a fantastic statue. Wow.
We've never seen such a statue.
It is a very nice statue, actually. And so
That's just weird to ask someone though. Like, hey, can I take your pictures? You stand here? Like,
yeah,
I guess.
It was for the broadcast, so I totally get it. And the
awesome.
camera dude was telling me like, hey, yeah, we try to get both sides. We try to get like both fans to or I guess it's evidence that people go to games, I suppose.
Yes.
So yeah, I was representing the White Sox on Tuesday, or was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday night.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, they caught me in 4K looking at a statue. So that there is footage of me in like some Pittsburgh archives of me looking at a statue. So yeah,
Awesome.
Other than that, the food was really fantastic. Everyone was telling me to go to Manny's Barbecue. That was the first place I went. I think James Fox told me to go there. And it was actually like the tastiest thing I had the entire trip. I got a pulled pork sandwich that was topped with pierogies and barbecue sauce.
What?
Oh,
There was like onion rings on it too. Yeah. So it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. I had it with a Yingling. And so I just sat there, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Rob Makoviak from Twitter, not the real Rob Makoviak, but he introduced himself as the fake Rob Makoviak. And of course, I had never seen his face before. And so he sits down, and he's like, hey, are you Janice? And I'm like,
it's like my nightmare.
yeah, essentially. I'm okay with meeting people in real life if I know you. But of course, like if I have no idea who the heck you are, then I'm just going to be like,
Just don't murder me.
Yeah, exactly.
Precisely. But
Please
anyway,
don't kill me.
he was there with his mom. They were both very sweet. She asked if I was an influencer. I said, no, I'm not an
You
influencer.
influence me every day. So
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
sometimes bad, sometimes good.
You influenced me to get Culver's yesterday because you posted a picture of it.
Oh my God. Okay. So maybe I am in a little bit. So I'm really glad that my questionable decisions are now your questionable decisions. So.
I brought it up.
I
and
think-
it was like, what sounds good for dinner? And I was like, my friend Janice posted this picture of a burger at Culver's today. And like,
Sharing
That's
is
really
caring.
what I want. So I got a burger and
Oh, we got an Archie sighting.
Hello, Archie.
Archie, what are you doing? Yeah.
He has plenty of things to say about PNC Park as well.
What are your thoughts on the Pirates, Archie?
Meh.
Nothing? Okay.
He's got nothing.
No.
But yeah.
Is the
anyway,
snake back?
There's a snake. What?
We have garter snakes all over our yard, and they're usually in the backyard, but there's a couple that live like in our front bush. And the other day he was like zipping back and forth on the couch, and he was like meowing and making all this noise. And I'm like, what is your problem? Leave the bunny alone, you jerk. And I went and looked out the window. There's a big fucking snake. And I was
Holy
like,
shit.
oh, we're gonna close the blinds and wait for David to get home. Because that is not something I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Snakes are nope ropes to me. I'm just like, I do not deal with snakes of any kind. I don't care if they're garter snakes, pythons, cobras. I am not a fan of snakes.
I don't fuck with snakes.
No
The-
snake
Comiskey-
fuckish.
No, Comiskey brought one in the house, like, I think like 2 months after we got her. I have no idea how she got it in the house, but I was picking up a blanket in the living room and I thought it was a worm because it was just like a little baby one. And I was like, ah! And I screamed, and David comes and it had like gone under the couch, and it was like laying on the register behind the couch. And I was like upstairs, locked in the bedroom. I'm like, tell me when it's gone. Because he was like, oh, it's not a worm, it's a baby snake. And I'm like, I'm not coming out until that thing's gone. I'm going to burn this house down. It was like, no.
Yeah, looks like the entire house has to go. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a blast owning a house, but yeah, we're just gonna have to
Nope.
throw out the entire.
We got to move, dude.
Just burn it all.
All right.
Oh, I see what he's looking at. There's a hawk on the light in front of our. Yeah, you're not going outside.
I'm
dummy.
hoping the hawk is like feasting on the snakes. It is about brunch time, so maybe.
I
maybe
think
that
that's
hawk
why.
can take one of those snakes, maybe drop it in with some bacon, maybe
There
some
you
French
go.
toast, a mimosa. There we go.
Well, once there was one in the
delicious.
driveway, I didn't see it and I backed over it. And I told David, I'm like, you need to just leave the corpse there as a warning to the other side.
Put its head on a tiny stick.
Yeah, I was like, put the body, like it like exploded, I guess. He's like, I'm like, put the body on a stick as a warning. He's like, no, I'm gonna throw out the garbage.
It
This
exploded.
is a good idea.
Yeah, because I have a RAV4 and
Oh,
they like exploded. This is
goodness.
the best way to explain that. But yeah.
That's a lovely image. Yeah. Or what you could do is just take a photo of the aftermath and then post it around your house and make sure the snakes
A
take
warning.
notice. Just be like, this could
Tell
be-
your friends.
this could be you. Yeah, exactly.
Snake talk.
Yeah.
We're changing the name of this podcast now. Snake talk.
Yeah, all I
Only.
can think of now is David Peralta holding the python on his shoulders for the Diamondbacks City Connect uniform.
Oh
release.
man, yeah.
Oh, those City Connect uniforms bum me out.
Yeah,
like-
they're almost all bad. Yeah,
I really liked Miami's.
yeah,
like-
Miami's was dope. I was kind of hoping there would be some pink in there.
Yeah.
because we need pink baseball uniforms. I just think we do.
We do.
Miami's a great place to integrate that.
It would look really good if they
But
added some pink
I
in.
know the Heat have kind of taken over the pink jersey market. So
Yeah.
I totally get it, but
We can share pink.
Yeah.
It's a very shareable color.
it really is. It really is.
More pink.
All right.
That'll be more inclusive for all the estrogen havers out there.
Yes.
Woohoo, which is everyone listening to this podcast and all four of us right here. Like we all have
We
it.
share this. We have it together.
Yes, share our power in this hour. So
Yes. Well, I think that's a good segue to our next topic about why some individuals, mainly men, get the benefit of the doubt in baseball knowledge.
I who was it? Was it Scotty, that Scotty Flim Dog? Didn't he say something about his girlfriend was wearing a Luis Robert shirt or
Yes.
something at the
Oh my
bar?
God.
And someone was like, "Who's your favorite player?" And she was like, "Fuck off." And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, this is the
That's the
energy
only
bringing
appropriate response.
every man questioning me about baseball. Fuck off.
Fuck off. My favorite one that I've been using lately is your Google broken? Because I'm not your fucking Google. I'm not your search engine. Do your own homework.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people asking Janice sometimes, like, "Hey, is the game still happening today?" Or like, "Do you know when they're going to open up seats?" And it's like, she's not the team. She
work
like
there.
call guest
There's
services.
social
I don't
media.
know.
Meteorologist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the White Sox themselves. I mean, I already have enough self-loathing already. I do not need to, self-deprecate myself further by taking on the role of the White Sox themselves. But yeah, I get a lot of strange questions in my mentions. So I'm going to throw this back because this just resurfaced to the top of the cesspool for some reason. But I remember when the White Sox signed Gio Gonzalez last year, someone asked me, who Gonzalez was traded for the first time. And I answered the question, just completely oblivious that this guy was quizzing me. I thought he was genuinely asking me, like silly me, huh? Right. And then he's like, "Did you just say that off the top of your head?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I had just written about Gio Gonzalez the week before, so therefore that's why the knowledge was fresh. The knowledge was still there. It was just plucked straight from the garden, like fresh grown knowledge." Like farm to table knowledge, like I already knew because I had done the research before. I guess he was a little taken aback by it. I think this person still follows me too. So if you're listening to this, I'll leave you anonymous. It's my treat to you.
I had a person, I just wrote something about, what if the White Sox are cheap and they don't go after anybody who's on our farm?
What if they're cheap?
Yeah, what if? Hypothetical. At White Sox, don't get mad. But I was just talking about superstars within the farm system, and I had so many comments, and it wasn't even on Twitter. It was in the cesspool that is Facebook, White Sox Facebook. And they were like, "Are you kidding? These people are not ready, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, bro, I am just writing about what is coming up eventually. They're probably going to be on the White Sox, or they will probably be traded eventually. I am not telling you that I am starting Jake Berger at second base today. I am just simply giving you his slash line that I know how to read. Sorry. And just telling you he has been consistent. He has been good. They have been shifting him in positions to show the White Sox just in case that's what happens. And they're like, "No, they aren't ready. I can't believe you would suggest that." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Who do you suggest? Please."
I didn't fucking ask you.
A 900-word article as well about who you suggest. Please.
Yeah.
And send it to me.
Write your opposing opinion or whatever.
If you dissent so hard, please write your dissent out.
Yeah.
And then I will
pisses me off.
put it in my trash can.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off. I wrote back in late 2019, so after we had signed Yaz and Dallas Keuchel and all that, and I was like, well, they also need a second baseman because they had released Yomer, and that was the first time they released him. And I was like, well, I don't think Nick Madrigal's ready. He's still a little green. And I was like, we should listed out a couple second baseman free agents that would be good, just placeholders for the time being until Madrigal was ready. People flip the fuck out. What about Lurie Garcia? I can't believe you didn't consider Lurie Garcia. What about Danny Mendick? And I'm like, what about them? What about them? I would not be mad if we had an all-star second baseman. Danny Mendick and Lurie Garcia are not those.
Still.
It's amazing how well that has aged. They are still not all-star second basemen.
Yeah, I'm like, that's aged really well. That's why I don't read the comments on any of my articles anymore, because I'm like, I don't need the, and like for the most part, people in Southside Sox that comment aren't like terrible.
Right.
But there's always one. So I'm like, I just don't read the comments. If you want to yell at me on Twitter where I can just fucking still ignore you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm not going out of my way to read the comments.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the comments from what I've read, they're extremely lazy.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but most of them on my articles are.
Enough. Not all, but enough.
Enough. Yeah.
Enough.
And I mean, yeah, it's like the squeaky wheel thing too, but yeah, they it's lazy. Like last time I wrote the last article I published was the one about Tony La Russa and the ARF Foundation, and a lot of the comments were wanting me to, they were accusing me of being like biased, and I do have my own opinion. I mean, we're humans, it's hard not to be biased, but also I was like, I gave it like a fair shake in my opinion of like his legacy, but just pointing out facts. Honestly, I just delivered facts. So there was one comment accusing me of like, oh, this is just a takedown piece. But then it was also like, I don't know, after reading this, like, it doesn't tell me what to think. And I was like, you just accused me of doing this. And it's like, I'm not going to explain to you what you need to draw, what conclusion. I'm not even saying there is a conclusion you need to draw.
Yeah.
I might
what he wants to be told
Yeah.
what to think.
wants to be explained what to think, but also is saying like, I don't like it because it makes me feel a certain way, or I'm perceiving it as this.
God.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know.
A lot of the times people like to read baseball articles because they're looking for confirmation bias, right? They're looking for things to essentially confirm what they already know, what they believe, even though, say, so many people on the internet will claim that they're looking to be challenged. They're looking for their viewpoints to be challenged. That's not true at all. Like,
No,
if anything,
not at all.
Exactly. And like when they read something that they're uncomfortable with, or anything that makes them like question their beliefs, or perhaps like challenges them to think outside the box, that's when a lot of people get angry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a result, I think that's why there's lots of mudslinging, super lazy comments. And kind of like what you were saying, Colleen, I would rather have someone yell at me on Twitter, just mainly because for whatever reason, my Southside Sox password, I have to reset every damn time I try to log in. And so I'm not going through that just to reply to like, I don't know, Yolmer Sanchez's booty hole 25. like
That's Keelin's burner.
Yeah.
Explaining to me
I do it to make you stronger. Build you.
Yeah, it's also in some cases where it's very obvious that, you know, the person commenting did not read the article at all.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I mean, I'll just write, did you, like, you can just say you didn't read it. It's okay. Because I addressed this in it. Yeah.
Well, and like I've said to people on Twitter when I've explained as much as I can explain this to you. I can't understand it for you. Like, I cannot make you understand what I'm telling you.
Yep.
The points I'm using to support my opinion. I can't understand this for you, or either you don't understand or you don't care, which, like, cool, quit being an asshole.
I think what a lot
I will say that Pitchfork guy.
Oh, Pitchfork guy. Oh my God.
Pitchfork guy at least apologized, but I think it came after like 50 people were like, dude, you're dumb. Yeah.
The ratio.
And it kind of just goes along, you know, the old proverb, you know, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. So I don't think he was expecting the heat all that much. So I think we have to talk about Pitchfork guy a little bit. So the context was he actually was replying to me. He replied to something I said. Now I can't remember like what exactly that was. But
it was about
interviews.
Yeah, it was about, so teams have to make players available to speak to the media. players as individuals are not required to speak to the
Oh,
media.
that
So
was
like,
yeah. It was after the Key Brian Hayes error, and the
yeah,
Pirates
after
would
like the
not
first
let
base
him.
shit.
Yeah, and of course, like I'm Key Brian Hayes because I said I was at the beginning of the episode. I'm both him and Glass now. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, and then the Pirates would not let him speak to the media, which understandably so. They didn't. They have every right to protect their player.
Right. It's very much like the Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Literally, the NFL requires players to talk to the media. Individual players in the team, they are required to talk to the media. In one of the few, and I think that's true across all of the major sports leagues, one of the few things that the MLBPA has really hung on to is that, yes, we will make players available to the media. You're not required to get their time. You can talk to them in the locker room. You can talk to them, well, not over the locker room now. You can talk to them over their Zoom calls. Individual players are not entitled to talk to you. You can talk to whoever the fuck else you want. You can talk to, like, that's, you talk to the manager. I think the managers may be required to talk to the media. I'm not 100% sure there.
I feel like they might be because I don't know how much.
Yeah, I think that they
Tony
might. I
would.
mean, they might be. Ugh. And like watching him talk to the media, I'm like, dude.
Keep that to yourself. It's embarrassing. That's my.
Yeah, he's not great at talking to the media. But and then when I saw the guy respond to Janice, where he was like, "No, players are required; they're obligated or something," and I'm like, "Well, they're actually not, though."
Yeah, and that was my first thinking too. I was like, I don't think that's true, and so that's when I sent it to our group chat, and then Colleen was like, no, they are not required to talk to the media, because Colleen had just read the entire like CBA. And
Yep. So yeah, that was last year. When I wrote something about like the changes to the season, about like the expanded, like all the new things with the 60 games and the expanded playoffs and stuff. I had gone through and read the entire CBA, which is like 500 pages. So I read it, so you don't have to.
Amazing research and dedication.
I think that was what was super hilarious is that Pitchfork guy was so confident in his answer that he did a quick Google search to pull up outdated information and was like
it's from 2016, but it clearly says
that was his mic drop, presenting outdated information that he found via a Google search.
Well, and I think we even saw that like a Quora article. Yeah. Which is like not definitely like not a good source, but yeah, exactly.
No, it was like the number one like return on Google was this Quora article saying like, are players required to talk to the media? No.
That guy had searched that and saw it and was like, oh shit, I gotta dig to go find
something else. Yeah. This isn't official. I have to use the media guidelines that say they're
he was just like, I think you called it too. I think right after you responded, you were something like, I bet this guy is busy on Google trying to find something that somehow supports his claim. And so predictable. Yeah, so
turns out there was nothing because you were wrong.
He was so confident too, and then he realized he messed around with the fuck around and find out group of girls on Twitter.
Yeah, fuck around and find out, but like, and I know a lot more about baseball than a lot of people, and I'm not going to be an asshole about it. I will never be an asshole about it. I know more about baseball than my husband, and he asks questions all the time, and it's not like I'm not nice to him just because he's my husband.
In fact, the opposite.
usually the opposite. But like, I'm not like, if you genuinely have questions, I'm not going to be an asshole to you about it. But and I'm not gonna like dunk, like there have been a few times where I've dunked on people where I'm like, you don't watch as much baseball, you don't know as much as I do, stop it. And then for him to pull out this thing from 2016 and be like, well, a Google search told me this. Okay, well, bitch, I read the CBA. What did you do? Like, you really want to fuck around and find out, okay, I read the collective bargaining agreement that expires this year. What the fuck do you have from your 2016 Google search? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Stay
I
in your
think
lane.
it's
buddy.
even worse
Yeah.
that this person wasn't even in the industry.
Nope.
Pitchfork, like
Yeah.
They're hollowed baseball coverage.
I know. I wanted to just reply and be like, "Don't you have like you don't, why can't you just go and just like bash the new Saint Vincent album or something?" It's like,
Yeah,
like,
it's like, don't you have something better to complain about?
exactly. Stay out of baseball business.
I was
Like,
so
go
worried
away.
though that he was gonna find out that I just bought Pitchfork Music Festival tickets because of St. Vincent and Kim Gordon. And I was like, oh crap, he's gonna like see my name and be like, didn't you buy tickets?
Just be like these women are not allowed inside Pitchfork.
Their
music.
headshots.
This girl, she's coming for St. Vincent, but no more. She's banned forever. Just trying to make her
Giant
money.
posters of all of our faces, like banned from Pitchfork forever.
Yeah. I've never been, so I think I'm okay with that. But like my feeling about the whole, like, yeah, it was hilarious when it happened, and like I got a laugh out of that. My husband got a laugh out of that. His friends got a laugh. Like everybody thought it was hilarious. But at the end of the day, he assumes that he knows more about baseball and that he's going to know more about baseball, and he's going to get the benefit of the doubt because he's a guy. And like, I don't want to pull out well, I read the CBA and I get paid to write about baseball. What the fuck do you get paid to write about?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to, like, don't make me be a dick, because I will.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he still got the benefit of the doubt that he was going to, like, in his mind, I'm going to be right because I'm a guy, so I know more about baseball.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we said in the last episode, where it's women fans and women who work for the team have to have more knowledge. We have to be better. We have to be better qualified. We have to have all of these extra things. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you that I read the CBA for you to believe that I know what I'm talking about. Like, I shouldn't have to do that. But I did. Like,
Yeah.
and that's a bigger problem.
I think the old saying is, we have to work twice as hard to be considered just as good.
Yeah. And I feel like it's extended, yes, to women and also people of color.
Minorities.
Women who are people of color. Yeah. It's like even worse. So
Mhm.
So it's ridiculous.
yay. Our burden. I did not ask for this.
But with that,
No.
we talked about this, if you're a guy and you see us getting attacked on Twitter, you can like pop in, seriously, because
We're not going to get mad.
we get so sick of this constant like being talked down to and being told we're stupid. I mean, this goes back to people in my DMs calling me the C word because I thought Michael Kopech was doing better than Dylan Cease early in the season. Like, if you see this shit,
Wild.
say something. You can get in. You can be like, dude, fuck off. She knows
Shut the
what
fuck up.
she's talking about.
You weren't wrong too. It's
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. That was what was so wild about it. Is like, that's not that crazy.
You're not
People are
wrong.
freaked out.
Just be a good ally, because we're constantly getting shit on for our opinions, for our articles, for just anything that we say or think. So,
or just like people taking my shit post seriously. Kind of like how I said that Zach Collins was not very good, and
He's not good. I will die on that hill. He is not a good
I
catcher.
mean, like let's own up to it. Like, he has not been very good lately, but I had someone like fervently defending Zach Collins in my mention. And like the excuses he was making was pretty funny. He's like, yeah, he can catch a little bit, but he still makes your team better. But I'm like, a little bit?
No.
You're gonna play
No.
professionally. You need to be better than a little bit. You need to I would get fired if I was only a little bit good at my job.
Right? I'm like, I have to be really good at my job.
And so I was like, look, dude, it's not that serious. And then
Yeah.
I think he was like, I'm just so emotional. And I'm
Yeah, that is that's what happened. Yeah.
men being
That
those men be
estrogen coursing
emotional.
through your body that's making you emotional right now.
Over Zach Collins.
Eugenics.
I'm
And it's fine to be emotional, but don't be a dick before you're being emotional, please. Because
He's
we won't
okay,
take
like-
pity up on you.
Do you know who
He's okay and provides some value.
I just delete all of my emotional tweets. Like, they see in my drafts, and I'm like, you know what? I was just really angry. I'm not actually going to tweet that out. I was emotional. Don't
Yeah.
post that shit on the internet.
It's good to walk away and take a breath sometimes.
I think the
It's
greatest thing about
legal.
shit posting too is, I mean, you're just fucking off in the heat of the moment, but like most of the time, there's always truth in shit posting. I mean,
Yeah.
like let's call it as it is. Zach Collins sucks right now, and I mean, yeah, he's come through. Like he's been.
He
in some
wasn't
good-
that good last year either.
There you go. Yeah, very
But he
true.
was a rookie, so we can forgive that.
Can we really?
No, I'm being polite. Okay, I felt like, listen, I felt a little bad because I called him dumb on the first episode. I didn't feel that bad calling him dumb after Friday's game. Right? My great, like those throws he was making the second, my dead grandmother could have outrun those. Okay, like what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so yelled at on Twitter.
It's okay. Now,
good. It's all
we
good.
hopefully whoever listens to this will now know.
My
to be an
allies,
ally.
help me out.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or maybe they'll be pissed off and be like,
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
yeah.
And don't yell
And
at
then
our
we'll come in.
friends that say it's okay to be a casual fan and to walk away from a team that sucks at
Oh
Cold War.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and admittedly, I did too. I mean, there was a span from like between 2012 and I want to say 2016 where I was like, I don't care about this team at all. I didn't follow them. I didn't pay attention, just mainly because like why should I have? It's like
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
sucked. The team sucked. And I don't think I'm any better of I don't think I would have been any better of a fan if I would have followed the team in that span.
I don't think I'm a better fan for continuing to follow the team even when they sucked. I think it makes me a glutton for punishment,
Precisely.
honestly.
Yeah, I identify with what you're saying in a different way, Colleen, because like obviously I'm a newer fan and I see people, most people are pretty open and accepting of me, but I'll see people post like, I've gone through years of suffering, and I'm sure at times people think when they see me being like saying my things, they're like, you don't know, but it's like, yeah, but I am
You
a
lucked
fan now.
out because you didn't know.
Yeah.
Just
I
seems
mean-
like, yeah, everyone wants to be oppressed.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to claim some sort of form of oppression. That's kind of where it stands from.
Yeah.
It's not
I've
fun.
paid
It's-
my dues, that sort of
And,
thing.
yeah, I mean, we definitely do not kink shame here on the Estrogen Power Hour.
No.
We are definitely just pro any of that, but it's just sort of like claiming that you're a better fan because you lived through some of the more painful years of White Sox fandom does not make you any better. It's,
Yeah. And I will say though too, as a newer fan, it's like I respect that because I didn't grow up even liking baseball. So this is like the first team I've really been like super into. And I don't, so when I see people who have been like ride or die for years, it's like I respect that. So if somebody was rude to me because I'm a newer fan, I'd be like, well, I respect you. So
That shit pisses me off. Like, I don't like the, oh, well, the bandwagon fans. Bitch, who cares? There's
Yeah.
fun. Like, it's fun when there's people at the
Yeah.
ballpark. It's fun when, like, your team's doing good and there's more people to cheer for you. As
And
somebody who
knows? They may
followed
be
the
more than a
team-
bandwagon at some point too.
Yeah, as someone who
Who cares
followed the
even?
team in 2012 through 2018 when they were trash, that sucked. It's not fun. It's not fun to go to the games and have them lose all the time. And then the stadium's empty. Like that shit sucks. So I don't think I'm a
Absolutely.
better fan than the bandwagon fans.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a better fan than the casual fans.
I am going to do a little bit of a reach here. I'm going to reach for something. To kind of just discount bandwagon fans to a point might also be xenophobic, just mainly because, yeah, I mean, there are a handful of White Sox fans who don't even live in this country, especially in the UK, where baseball is getting to actually be very popular. So I can probably tell you that a handful of UK baseball fans did not grow up as White Sox fans. They probably adopted baseball later on in their lives. That doesn't make them any less of a fan than people who grew up in the United States.
Yeah.
So in that case, like, say, how are we going to grow the game? How are we going to grow the game if everyone's going to be this exclusive? Like, hey, this is me, this is mine. Only I can cheer for this. Like all of this was done for me. That attitude is just, I don't know. Just dumb.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem there is like Major League Baseball's got those shitty blackout rules.
Yep.
And they're not like like it's regionally broadcast and it's limited broadcasting. ESPN only shows the Cardinals and the Yankees and the Red Sox. So that's definitely not helping.
Yeah. And I saw something, our friend Sox Bear Peyton retweeted something that kind of went viral the other day where a guy was like, stop calling the team or saying we when you're talking about the team. And which was
boyfriend
like
who said shit like that.
well, it's like,
yeah, it's like,
yeah, it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but the whole point of sports, to you guys' point, is like a tribal experience. And it's like people like sports because they want to be associated and accepted with a team. And that's why the whole point of why we do this, why we cheer on a team. And that's why we say we, and it's just like, we were thinking way too much about this. So Janice, to your point about like xenophobia, I can totally see that, because I mean, people see like outsiders wanting to come in and get like defensive of it, when really it's like, they just want to be part of our tribe too. And how they do it is the way they do it. And yeah, we should be excited about it. Like, cool, more of us, which means more good things. And hopefully, maybe more money.
When I was covering, I think it was the Orioles right fielder has an entire the entire Baltimore Orioles UK fan base.
That's right.
Was built around, it was built around the right fielder because
Santander, yeah.
That's
yeah,
so cool.
because when they played it, I think they played the Blue Jays, and there was like some UK scouts group that was visiting Canada for something or other. Some scouts mission, I don't fully remember. But they were sitting in right field and he was there and he like interacted with them and they had fun, and that grew into the Baltimore Orioles UK fan base. And like stuff like that is super cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and like more of that, please. So I think having the London games has helped a little bit too, because the time difference alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to my friends at Bat Flips and Nerds. They're a podcast that's based in the UK. They talk about baseball. They had me on a few months ago to give their White Sox season preview. But yeah, super cool dudes. Definitely give them a follow / listen if you want to like learn about baseball from a UK perspective with a British twist. But yeah, it's always really great to just talk to fans from other countries too, in general, just mainly because the American or I guess I should say American / Canadian perspective can be very, I don't know, skewed, can be very linear, I think. So I really enjoy talking to folks from the UK about baseball.
I think like 5 years ago. Yeah, it was like 5 years ago. So my mom and I went to a Cubs, because my mom's a Cubs fan. I talked about this. So I take her to like Cubs games when they play the Sox or when they play the Mets. And I want to say it was like 5 years ago. Yeah, because David and I left on vacation the next day. We went to a Cubs Sox game and they were losing. So I got super drunk. I was talking to the guy sitting next to me. Well, he was British. He was visiting Chicago. His girlfriend lived in like Boston and he was visiting Chicago. And he was asking me questions about the game, like during, and so I'm explaining it to him, and he goes, the funniest thing, he goes, so all of the fans are fans, they're fans of both sides. I was like, yeah, they all, like everyone sits together. I was like, my mom's a Cubs fan, and like there are people behind us that are Cubs fans. He goes, yeah, in England for football matches, we have to sit on different sides of the pitch because they're fights. And I was like, well, there's fights here too. I haven't solved for that yet. It's like my favorite thing.
It is.
I don't remember his name.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name because I was shit-faced. But I do remember asking him like, why is hunting or shooting or whatever it is that the royal family does, why is that such a big thing there? And he goes, well, we have a lot of deer and foxes, and you don't want to go out one day and see a deer munching on your grandmother's knickers. And I was like,
Hi. Okay.
That's not where I thought this was gonna go.
You're like, do you guys have a dryers or?
Yeah, it was like
or
have
they're just
follow-up
grandma
questions.
panties laying around.
Blowing in the breeze. But yeah, it was just like it was fun. And he was just really funny about it. But yeah, I was like, yeah, there's fights here too. We still don't sit on opposite sides of the ballpark. We probably should.
Yeah, that would
Might
be
help a little
wild.
bit.
We'd still fight. We'd find ways.
Oh yeah.
It still
Maybe during
happens.
Cubs Sox, they have to divide the they're gonna keep the COVID sections just for Cubs Sox games.
Well, I think this is our commercial break time. So
Right, here's a
We'll
few
return
words from our
shortly.
sponsors about when we come back from the break, we will talk about pitchers taking pants off and sticky
Yeah.
stuff.
This podcast is sponsored by Spider Tack.
you want your boys to take the pants off? Well, we got a story for you. Here's dude.
All right, so it's been about we're about a week and a half into the substance crackdown. Substance crackdown sounds like something in your middle school where they're like, yeah, no drugs in school or something like that.
I really feel like they took all the sticky stuff out of all of the dugouts because I've been seeing a lot more flying bats lately.
Yeah, that is true. I believe even in Pittsburgh, I believe a bat got away from Jose Abreu too. I just remember seeing that bat flying and me going,
Yeah.
But I think the inspections so far have been first of all, like somewhat embarrassing. I think this is embarrassing for the sport, but it's also kind of hilarious to a degree. I do remember the images of Max Scherzer getting checked, and I just love that guy. I just love how just incredibly deranged he looks. Like most
The whole video, of that whole sequence is amazing because it starts with Joe Girardi pointing, and then Max Scherzer all crazy eyed, do you want me to take my pants off? And then when he goes back to the dugout, they're waving stuff at Joe Girardi. And it's the whole video of it is just I'm like, this is terrible for baseball, but this is hysterical.
Yeah.
Coming off lives rent free in my head, every day. Just that scene of him starting to pull his pants down. It's up here forever, and it will be.
Yeah.
Sergio.
My money is on Liam Hendricks being the first one that yanks his pants off like they're the tearaway Adidas. He
Well, I hope so.
check for everything. Because he's I feel like he's the guy that would do that. Him or Lance Lynn would be the ones that would just do that.
That would be amazing.
My big problem with it is twofold. One, apparently they didn't tell the MLBPA that they were doing this.
That's true, they didn't.
Which is a big problem.
Yeah.
And the union's gonna have a big problem with that. Secondly, is there's now a dearth of white male baseball writers talking about the right way to show your hat and glove and your belt and to be respectful of the umpires. And I'm like,
this sounds like some cop shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop y'all right there. This is the unwritten rules. Bat flip, don't celebrate bullshit. They were like, oh, look how polite Shohei Ohtani's being. I'm like, well, yeah, he's probably a nice guy anyway. He's not a weirdo.
Yeah, he's generally a polite guy anyway. So it's...
yeah, I'm like, he's calling Shohei Ohtani polite is okay, he's not the weirdest guy on that team by any stretch of the imagination. But and if I was a player, I would be offended, and I would think that it's offensive. The Mets pitcher McGill hit his debut game, and he was getting pulled. Got a standing ovation at Citi Field. The ump stopped him to check for substances. And the fans booed, which was amazing. Because Mets fans don't fuck around in New York. They're a scary bunch. But yeah, the ump stopped him, checked his glove, checked his hat, and the fans were booing. And Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling and Gary were like, well, yeah, he just debuted. He had a great game, and now they're going to stop him. He's getting a standing ovation, and now they're going to stop him and check him. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
There's just
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
and I think you brought up a good point. It is it's funny in one way, but in the other hand, it's also like disturbing. Like we're having this
It's-
kind of check and so publicly, and like you guys said, there was no
And it started in June.
yeah, like yeah, great. Now what's it gonna do? Yeah, it's at least like get your shit together and
Right.
plan it maybe for next season, but not in the middle of the
Right.
season.
And that was really my big problem with it, was that they were like, well, we're gonna start doing these now. And it's like, okay, define the rule better and come up with a better plan in the off season. Like you really have to do it right now, this very second.
Yeah,
Like it really comes off as what they were doing last year during the COVID game negotiation, where they're trying to turn fans against the players.
Yep, that's exactly
And
what
that's-
it is.
Yep. I'm like, this is really what it, because last year the whole, oh well, they don't want to play millionaires and billionaires fighting and all of that crap. Players are still the workers. It doesn't matter how much money they make. They're
Yep.
not all making millions, by the
Yep.
way.
And now,
Um,
it's like, yeah, we're cleaning up the game. All of these players are cheating. Like you don't like cheating.
Get out of here.
do
No, they're
you?
not.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just the whole binary that they're kind of using to demonize players. And I think a great example is Tyler Glass now, where a lot of people
Yep.
were whining in the sense that they're like, oh well, he's sad because he can't cheat anymore. Like no, that's not that's not what he was doing. Like he
Yeah.
was using sunscreen and rosin, which is a substance that hitters were okay with, that a lot of like the union was okay with too, and he was using it not to get additional spin on the ball, which could give
It's
an
for
advantage.
grip.
It's right. It's for grip, and they told him
Because-
that he just had to stop using it altogether.
Yeah.
And so when he was saying that he might have like torn his UCL just mainly because he was choking the heck out of the ball, I believe him because that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
yeah,
Well, and they were talking, I was watching the Women's College World Series, and they were talking about it with the softball players. They were like, yeah, they use sunscreen and rosin to get a better grip on the ball. And people are like, but that's okay because the softball is bigger. I'm like, no, but baseball players still need to get a grip on the ball too. Because my mom was like, Lucas Giolito sweats a lot. She's like, he's so sweaty. I'm like, that's why they were using sunscreen and rosin. It's to dry your hands, to get a good grip, all of that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's just like such a lack of empathy too, for players. And again, it's all just
Mhm.
in the whole process of just demonizing players, which is,
Yeah.
I see right through it anyway.
yeah, it is. And the cheating narrative is really interesting because it's like at a certain point too, like if they're all doing it, that's been normalized. And now you're just going to fuck with stats and everything else. And injuries. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many injuries happen because of it as well.
Yeah. So as a sidebar for anybody who's watching the YouTube and just saw my face, David was outside trimming the bush in our backyard, and there was a big garter snake in it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a nope.
They're
Big
coming
ol'
for
nope.
you.
Mm-mm.
Snakes
Nope.
are
Gotta burn that bush, dear.
Yeah, I think it's time to post those signs with that exploded
The
snake
dead
body.
snake. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna put
it-
Archie out there. What did you hear? Archie, don't let him talk to you that way, little buddy. Anyway, we digress. Oh,
Where do you guys see, like, I don't want to speculate too much, but also where I think we're probably all on the same page about the legacy. This is going to have this little experiment with banning sticky stuff, but I'm curious about where you guys see this going next. Like,
I think this dies after this season.
yeah, maybe before.
Yeah.
I would hope it dies after the season.
Yeah.
The sooner the better is mainly because I just think it's completely like
It's dumb.
antithetical to like, let's say, so Manfred is all about like increasing the pace of play, right? And this is just something that's slowing it down even more. So it's so dumb. I don't see the point.
Increase the pace of play by giving the pitchers TSA pat downs.
Yeah. Next cavity searches, maybe. Yeah, I'm interested to see if the Players Association does take action, especially since, of what happened with Max Scherzer. So
Yeah, well, a lot of, aside from that, the Max Scherzer stuff is a whole big, like disrupting the game, disrupting the flow, gamesmanship by Joe Girardi, all of that stuff. The Yankees, oh God, I can't remember who it is, who's their player union rep, said that it is going to come up in CBA negotiations, which it should. They shouldn't like define the rule better, have it, not come out in June, but I think that it's going to die a slow death after this year. Like, I think this year is going to be the only year that it happens, because I think the union's going to make a big thing about it.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, we've talked about how it's a violation, like, and we just kind of talking about gender norms and athletes, we talk about them being like, like take it like a man, or they're tough, but who knows like what some of these guys have had happen in their past where they feel, this might bring up some kind of weird like trauma or something. That's what I think about when I see it. I'm like, who knows what that dude's been through, or like, who knows, like, even if they don't have that, like, it might, it's jarring.
It's
like, you want me
to,
like, this is my private space. And
I still love the A's reliever who just dropped his pants on the field.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Who's going to moon for rebuttal? Because I need to know who's going to, like, I told my husband, I'm like, it's going to get so bad that I think one of the players is going to full on drop pants and moon the umpire.
Yeah.
Which would be hilarious, but also Major League Baseball should be embarrassed if that happens.
Yeah.
So who is the first you think will moon an umpire? I would really.
I'm still going with Liam Hendricks.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Liam Hendricks on that one. So
that'd be amazing.
I also think often about Robbie Ray, and say, like if he were to be,
but he needs butter to get those pants off. He's like hot dog grease.
Exactly. It's like 5 minutes just to like peel the pants down.
Yeah. He's gonna need hot dog grease to get out of those. I'm not entirely sure that he's wearing pants. I think it's just spray paint.
I would really hope that this leads to at least like pitchers being a little more colorful about checks, like maybe like kind of like how you guys brought up like the tearaway Adidas track pants. Like maybe it could just be like, I don't know, an entire just like outfit like reveal where he spins around and is wearing an entirely new an entirely new uniform altogether. So kind of similar
Project Runway, Major League Baseball edition.
Precisely. Kind of have it be like Project Runway or RuPaul's Drag Race, where suddenly the pitcher is just walking down the runway and all of a sudden just twirls and is wearing an entirely new uniform altogether. I would like to see that. I would like to see some creativity.
I would, but Janice, this is Major League Baseball. We don't have fun here.
This is where they break through with the pink uniforms. Their team has no history of pink, but then just reveal it's beautiful neon pink.
That'd be amazing.
I do like, so it's really funny to me that everybody who complained about the City Connect jerseys, that they thought they were so ugly and stuff, if you compare them to like the American or the Chicago American Giants uniforms, they have the similar like pinstripe design. So I was like, that's kind of a throwback to the Negro League team in Chicago. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's what it reminded me of.
That's cool. Yeah.
Speaking of pink uniforms. Although I'm pretty sure those City Connect jerseys are hexed. I think there's a witch's curse on them.
Yeah.
We need Chrystal to come back.
Cut them up. Yeah.
It is Boston in town again.
I know. I think after the game from yesterday, it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. Or sorry, the day before yesterday.
Yeah,
I watched that, so you guys didn't have to.
You're a martyr. Thank you.
You know what? Like, there have been so many games where I'm like, why did I get stuck with this? Can we play better on Fridays? Yeah, maybe
you could change days.
I know. I need to swap. I need to swap with someone. I think I'm stuck though.
Yeah.
I've committed to Fridays.
Ask Hannah to swap and you can do Sunday games.
Don't want to talk some Pride Month now?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Pride Month, at least for the next couple of days. But on our last episode, we were mentioning how a lot of at least a lot of Major League Baseball teams have been like having Pride nights and changing their logos to rainbow colored logos, which I think is great. It's a great message, but at surface level can be somewhat performative. But a video was released last week showing that Liam and Christy Hendricks actually they're hosting a benefit of some sort for the Center on Halsted, which is a fantastic organization on the north side of Chicago that does a lot of good work for LGBTQIA plus folk. I was a volunteer at the Center of Halsted on Halsted for a little bit. They do really fantastic career guidance, also to a lot of great youth programs for LGBTQ youth. But yeah, it was really refreshing to see that a White Sox player and his spouse are like putting their money where their mouth is, to say the least.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I will say the White Sox, like, they haven't had the best track record with Pride Month. They do, I don't even know if they've had like a game maybe in the last 5 years where it's been during Pride Month and it's like the Pride game. I really like what the Mets did, where for their Pride Night, they did a t-shirt giveaway. And then there was also a donation that the organization was making for LGBTQ youth. And I'm like, any Mets fan who went to that game, do they like, the shirts are super dope. Send me one of those. I'll buy it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's nice that even if the team as a whole is not doing something, that an individual player is.
Yeah.
Because you saw a lot of that with Sean Doolittle and his wife too. And they've always, like, since he was on the A's, they've always done stuff. So it's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah, and even if it is just one player, it's great to see, because it's like there's somebody, like, that's huge just for the team alone, even if it's one person and their spouse. So hopefully more folks will start doing that, but it would be great at some point to see the entire team, or like the majority, kind of do something similar. But yeah, I agree. And we talked about that last episode, just like how it would be nice to see putting the money or putting their money where after they say things, it's like, just, we know you got some money laying around. Why not do this?
I think things are going to start hopefully trending in a better direction, just with players, with Carl Nassib coming out and being the first out professional active roster athlete. I'm hoping that really helps kind of open doors for other, and I will say male athletes, because like we talked about, women's soccer and, you know, the WNBA, like, everyone's out and proud, and
Yeah, everyone's gay.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. I would really hope to come to a point where, like, just being straight is in the minority. I actually would love to see that in any sport.
Yeah.
Well, or nice just to, like, not even have to talk or think about it. And it's just like, you love who you love. Who cares? Maybe you have a preference. Like, why do we have this conversation? I'm glad we are, for the people who are like doing it and making headway for the space. But yeah, eventually it'll be great, you know, that you don't have to come out.
Yeah. And it's important that kids can see themselves in these players. It's important that, I mean, knowing how toxic masculinity spreads across like the male sports leagues and how big of a problem it is, like, hopefully, you know, gay kids playing football, gay kids playing baseball and hockey, as they're coming up, they're able to see representations of themselves somewhere. Then there's a whole separate problem with everyone who's like, well, trans athletes shouldn't be allowed to play because it's, you know, that's a whole other mess of nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully as these kids are coming up, they're going to start seeing more representation, and that can only be good for the sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think having Pride Nights is good, just mainly because you're fostering this inclusion in a space where traditionally, say, LGBTQIA people were either like looked down upon from being at a baseball game, or rather just made to feel uncomfortable. So I was at Brewers Pride Night a few weeks ago.
That looked so cool.
I had a blast of a time. There were rainbows everywhere. It was gay as hell. I loved it. There were drag queens and just people.
Or drag queens at baseball games in general.
I think
That's
drag queens
amazing.
at baseball games should be normalized.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sign me up for that.
Yeah,
sounds fun.
this drag queen just had a really really gorgeous League of Their Own style a uniform, and it was all sequined. It was just so incredibly fabulous. She made my entire night. She told me I was cute, so that was
Aw,
really fantastic.
What a freaking honor.
Yeah, that's the best
But
part.
yeah, I think the biggest thing that made me happy from attending that game was that you just saw so many people just being themselves and just just not being afraid to be their true selves. And I think hopefully we can get to the point where we see that every day, that we see that every game, as opposed to everyone just, I guess, maybe toning things down to make other people feel comfortable. That shouldn't have to be the case.
Yeah. Way too much code switching.
Right.
I am a firm believer of just not watering yourself down. Like if someone has an issue, they can choke. Do not water yourself down for someone else.
Exactly.
Let them choke.
If you don't like me, then I'm sorry, but you have very bad taste.
I agree. If you don't like Colleen, you have bad taste.
You like it.
Right.
I would agree with that too. I would absolutely agree with that as well.
If you don't like Colleen, I don't trust you.
Aha.
So reveal yourself now so I don't talk to you ever again.
Probably blocked from her Twitter if you. She's probably already blocked.
No.
Yeah, but I'm hoping the Carl and the Steve news brings, and I'm probably saying his last name wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm not a football fan. I'm hoping that brings more good news for the rest of the leagues.
I'm hoping that it encourages more folks to come out, actually.
Yes.
Mainly because I have a hard time believing that at least in Major League Baseball, everyone is straight. That cannot be the case.
Yeah.
No, there's no way. I think the thing Major League Baseball has a hard time with, and I think that's one of the reasons they have a hard time with minority groups, is that it's very homogenous. It is very white. It's very conservative.
Yep.
Because a lot of the players from warm weather states, they're more conservative states, and that's just the way that that's just the way that it is. They can play baseball year round in a way that like kids in Chicago can't. I think that's been one of the underlying problems with baseball, is that a lot of the white players coming from warm weather states may have a more conservative point of view, and it hasn't made people feel like they can be more open in their locker rooms.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Everyone needs to just get along.
Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, I think the way Carl Nassib, I also don't know how to say his name, the way he did it was really amazing, because it's like, obviously this is a huge deal, but he delivered it just like, this is me. I hope, not only am I telling you this, but I'm gonna, again, put money behind it as well. It was very graceful. It was very like calm and just like, this is who I am. Okay, I'm here, world.
Apparently that's just his personality.
It was amazing. It was like, this is like how it should be. Like, he was very brave, but also like, suck it if you don't like it. Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, who's going to argue with a guy who's a defensive lineman?
I know, exactly. That's the other thing too. Like, we have the, like, we have an idea of gay men, like a stereotype, and it's amazing to see like, there's people of all types that are gay. So
I mean, he's this big butch football player and he's gay, and that's great. I'm sure his boyfriend is very nice.
I think that
I don't know who, if
he may not have one.
I hate
he
that.
may not have one. I'm sure if he does, I hope he's very nice and has a very nice boyfriend if he does.
Yeah.
I hate that whole stereotype about, are you actually gay? You play football? Because I get it a lot. Like, I came out as bi forever ago, but people are like, but you're married and you have kids. And
oh, Lord, that's my favorite one.
Negate the fact that I am still interested in either gender. No, I'm not going to leave my husband, but that does not mean that I'm not going to see someone and be like, oh man, she's pretty. Like, if I was single, like this, I joke with my husband constantly. I'm like, St. Vincent will always be my hall pass. I don't know why you're like cool
Yeah.
with us going, but he was like, I don't care. And he was very open with me pretty recently, actually, because we kind of had like a Pride Month discussion. And he was like, you can tell me, like, if you ever feel like you've missed out on something, like, tell me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. But, you know, I always joke about St. Vincent, but people are just like, yeah, but you're married.
Yeah.
Well, and I think part of that
Yeah.
is like there's weird stereotypes about the bi community. Like
It's very homophobic.
Totally,
yes, I
totally.
have I have gay friends who would say like, oh, bi now, gay later. And I'm like, I feel like that's not true.
Yeah.
And I think that's some just old biases within different communities, and it's kind of bled over into like, oh, well, you're not that bi if you're married to a guy, or you're a lesbian if you're married to a woman. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, mind your business.
Yeah. Well, and it
You don't
creates boxes, and it's like, and you
Yeah, you
change
don't
throughout
fucking
your
know.
life. I think that's the other thing people don't, not everybody, but a lot of people don't want to either think about or acknowledge, is that you're not always the same person. You learn new things, new information, you try new things in everything, and you're developing as a person always. But yeah, I feel what you're saying, Chrystal. I feel like to Pride Month, even though maybe we're not there yet as a society and normalizing it, I feel like the conversation around like monogamy and polyamory is very much in that conversation, but we have not gotten there yet as a society because people just don't talk about it. So yeah.
No, and like, look, if you're in a poly relationship and it works for you and nobody's being abused, have fun.
Yeah.
It's great for her.
One is enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like good for you. I'm just, one's enough for me. Like, I'm done. I don't have that much energy anymore. I'm 37, man. God, I want to go to sleep at like 9.
Yeah, just even the idea of being around one person all the time is, I'm already tired.
That's why he's outside doing yard work right now.
I need a break. Yeah. I mean, everybody's different, but like, you know, if you're married for the rest of your life, that's a lot. Like, you get married younger, even like 20s, 30s, that's a long ass time if you want to be married forever. Like, you're going to change as a person. It's just going to happen. Your spouse is like leaving room for that to happen in healthy ways.
Yeah.
Be prepared for it, basically, is what I think.
I got married later. And even then, like, how old was I when I got married? I think I was like 32 when we got married. Maybe. How long have I been married?
Who cares?
Yeah, I was
whatever.
Like I had to think. I was like 31 or 32 when we got married. And even then, like, we're still changing as people. It's just the nature of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I know monogamy is not for everybody. We weren't actually going to get married, but then he got in the union, and I was like, give me that health insurance. Give me that sweet union health insurance. But it worked for us, like, not being married. Getting married didn't change our relationship in any way. And I think, like, that's just how a lot of people approach relationships. If you're poly and it works for you, have at it. But
yeah, and it's kind of, I think it's similar mindset. And that's why I think, like, including that conversation in Pride Month is good, because it's like, people have been doing it for years, like, maybe different ways. Maybe people are poly, maybe they're in some kind of like swinger situation, like whatever, but people have been doing it for years, but like, most aren't going to be out about it. But if that's what works for them, like, great.
Do what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
2020 was hard. We all had to make it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do to get by.
Speaking of getting by, what about this bag and purse policy? It is not helping us get by.
I have stressed.
I'm still confused by it.
So hard on this. So I have like a little wristlet, and I seriously thought, I was like, I'm just gonna put this on Twitter and be like, can I get in with this little tiny bag? Because I'm finally going to go to a game with 2 of the 3 other co-hosts of this lovely podcast. But I was just like, well, like, I always have chapstick on me. I am very pale. I like to take sunscreen. Like, I have
And
an
those sunscreen
inhaler.
sticks are bullshit. They don't
They
work.
are.
No,
They don't work at all.
But I was like, and then, like I carry a purse. I'm a purse person. I can't just shove everything in my pockets because also women have tiny pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shouldn't have to feel everything I'm carrying just pressed like close to my being. It's just
Yeah.
no.
And it's not fun to sit on your phone.
No,
Like
it's
putting your
not.
cell phone in your
It
back
is.
pocket. It's not fun.
Also,
I
if you
don't.
go to the restroom, your phone is going to fall in the toilet if it's in your back pocket, or it's
It
going to fall on the
absolutely will.
nasty floor.
Absolutely will.
What is the, like, I don't even know what the current rule is.
It's
Is it
9
a
and a
clutch?
half. Yeah, it's a 9
Oh.
9.5 or 9x5 bag.
Yeah.
I have a White Sox wristlet that I've taken
Mhm.
and been fine, but I've seen people like with backpacks and regular purses, and I've heard
Yeah.
people say that like they've been sent back to their car over that, and I'm like,
I've been
why
able
is this a
to
thing?
That is
to
weird.
get in with this bag.
That's
So
me begin with.
I have been to like 4 different ballparks, and I think I only got crap for it at Sox Park actually. But the whole loophole is that just as long as you throw some medication in it, so
So if I put the inhaler in here, I'm good.
Ooh,
yeah.
It's a good idea.
So essentially,
Ah,
yeah, security won't mess with your medication as they shouldn't. So just
What
as long as you
about
bring that
like
with you, you're good.
tampons or pads?
Apparently
like-
that doesn't count, which I think is crap.
What the fuck?
oh yeah,
Exactly,
that was the Target
exactly.
Field thing, wasn't it? Oh geez, hang on.
Yeah. What, like, that
Apparently
awful.
the whole compromise is that you can go to guest services and they will give you a tampon. But the thing is,
That's
though,
right.
I don't want to have to walk up to
No.
a complete stranger and be like, "Hey, I'm ragging. Give me a tampon." Okay.
Also,
I think you need to say that once, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, we'll shut it down.
You have to go up to the male guest services person though, because the female
Precisely.
one won't care. You got to find the male guest services guy
Yeah.
and like freak him out.
Yes, exactly. I need to make someone as uncomfortable as I am, like
Yeah.
having to ask someone or announce that, "Hey, I'm on my period."
I'm
give me
bleeding out my
something.
vagina actively.
Exactly.
I can tell you more if you would like.
Yeah. And
I am shedding my uterine my lining. So I did not get pregnant this month. So therefore, this is why this is happening. And
every male listener that was just listening to this has signed off officially.
they're like, we're
if
good.
they haven't already, but hey, you know what? If you've stuck with us for this long, hats off to you. Hats off.
You're in it. You're in it now. I remember when the NFL first came out with the bag policy, and it was like, you can't have diaper bags. You have to use the small clear bag. And oh, look, we sell them on the NFL's website.
Oh,
And I
boy.
remember thinking then, I'm like, this is weird and sexist
Sarah
because
Lona made those bags. She was married to John Ryan on the Seahawks, and that the bag policy came out. So she made that whole brand called like Clutch Woman or something, and it's regulation sized purses.
That's
that you can bring
cool.
in, and you can get them in like your team's colors. Because I actually looked into
That's
it.
cool.
They're
What's it called?
Crazy. It's called Clutch.
Clutch. Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're just like cute, and they're in like there's some like she has one that's like this dark blue color, and on the inside it's like lime green because he played for the
That's so
Seahawks.
cute.
So I was like, do I want to spend that money just so that I can bring like my wallet and lipstick into the game or my phone? But I
Yep.
mean, good for her for doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, and like I have the White Sox Dooney and Burke bags because I've gotten them at like Marshall's. Because I'm not
I only
spending
see
$200.
the Cubs at Marshall's, and I'm pissed.
I got my mom a Cubs one from Marshall. Yeah, I never see the White Sox ones because people fucking buy them. I got my mom the Cubs one from Marshall's, and it's the exact size that it needs to be. But she goes to like Northwestern games, so she already has like a smaller one. But I'm like, okay, well, we're going to a day game next week. It's July. I'm Irish.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to look like a fucking tomato.
I want my 100. I want my 100 SPF sunscreen. For
Yeah,
my face.
I mean, I feel like
I put in my tattoos too.
sunscreen is medicinal. Well, you know what I mean?
Sunscreen
Preventative.
is highly necessary.
Yeah,
It's so very
like-
necessary.
Do you guys want us to get cancer?
We also want our
That's
picture
what I feel like.
answer because they can't use sunscreen.
Yeah. Just throw
Yeah.
it into the bullpen. Here you go, boys.
Here you go. Well, I mean, we're gonna be sitting close enough to the bullpen that we can do
Yeah.
that.
You can. I
Toss
find
them in.
it's not inclusive.
my tail.
No, it's very sexist. Like I have no problem saying that it's sexist. It is sexist to have a bag policy. It's like having, a uniform policy.
It's sexist and
work.
it's ableist.
Sexist.
Yeah.
It's very ableist too. Like, and I mean,
I don't want to have to wave medication around to be able to bring in a thing.
Same here.
yeah.
I really don't feel comfortable showing my medications to anyone. It's just, I don't know. I don't even like showing my medications to myself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
honestly be like, oh yeah, I'm on this.
I'm not putting my anxiety meds in my purse just so I can bring sunscreen into the baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it, and I'm just gonna keep bringing my, White Sox one, and I'll just deal with it. I guess I'll just go to a different gate and try and get it,
Yeah.
because it seems like it's not consistent.
I'm not driving either, so I can't go put something back in the car. Like, I'm 3 stops away from 35th, so
I'm not going home.
I can't just like hop back on. Like, sorry, please take my bag back because of this sexist, ableist, stupid policy that COVID brought on.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's like, oh, we can all be here without masks on, but we still have to do this. Yeah. It's a little.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to cut down. Like, I get why they did it initially.
Yeah.
When there was still like capacity limits, they're trying to cut down on gathering, and congregating and all of that stuff. But like at this point now, you can have someone wand a purse. Come on.
Yeah.
If my credit card falls out of my back pocket, how am I supposed to spend money at the game?
Haha, tell Jerry that. I got one of these things for the back of my phone.
Jerry.
It's like the little that you put your card in.
Yeah. I feel
So.
like, I mean, it is like it's always like something else. It's like, okay, we're still doing this so people can't bring in food or whatever, it
Yeah.
reminds me of the city of Chicago. Like, I still think you can't buy booze after whatever time, like 9 or 10. Or
Oh no, they got
yeah.
rid of that.
They did? Oh, thank God. Okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they got rid of that because
Ugh.
people were like, "This is stupid."
It is stupid.
I don't drink at home, so I guess it doesn't really affect me, but still.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I do. There's no line for my bathroom.
True, that's true.
Yeah, like I think when it was at 9, that was like, damn it. I can't,
Yeah.
like, that's because we usually run out around that time.
That was like in the state of Indiana, you couldn't buy booze at the store on Sunday.
Yeah, that's how it was in
That
Alabama
just got
too.
lifted recently.
Yeah, that was always my favorite thing. Like, you couldn't buy booze at the store on Sunday. But you could go to the bar.
You can get carry out from some of the bars even.
Yeah, I'm like, how is that better?
Yeah.
You Mormons?
Maybe.
Cut that part out.
I just insulted the entire
You did.
community of people.
All of our Mormon listeners are pissed. They're going to
Yeah. Listen, if we have Mormon listeners, I don't think they're that kind of Mormon. I don't think they're that serious about it.
Yeah, if they're listening to something that has an explicit content warning.
You've made it
I mean, just
pretty
me,
far.
I'm the explicit content warning.
It's all right. They can just drink like a 2% Miller Lite and just carry on with their day. It's all good.
The non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, O'Doul's.
Oh,
O'Doul's.
O'Doul's tastes like, ugh. There are better non-alcoholic ones out there that are not O'Doul's.
Yes, there are. I actually bought a 6-pack yesterday from Vinny's, just mainly because I was curious. So it's a juicy IPA that's made by Untitled Arts. And it was really decent. Like you couldn't tell that it was non-alcoholic, which is what I like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that the whole non-alcoholic beer trend is good, just mainly because I would like to just fool myself into thinking I am drinking beer, even though like I am not getting drunk.
Yeah.
Well, and like there's the Saganash Brewing that or Saugatuck Brewing, the blueberry lemonade thing. I think if that didn't have alcohol in it, I would like it better because there's kind of like a blueberry lemonade beer taste and it's not always great.
Yeah.
So I think if that didn't have alcohol, I probably would have liked that a lot better. And then I think it's just juice. I think that I'm just drinking blueberry lemonade. So
Cool. Well, I think we've covered everything today.
everything
so.
today so far.
So
I'm
far.
So
sure that
far.
there will be more for us to discuss and tear apart in our next episode. So
There will be.
Woohoo.
We are awaiting potential trade or requirement news still.
let's see. Hopefully my crystals and spells have worked. Just the small group of just entrails and ashes and whatnot left in front of
Can
people.
you use your spells on the City Connect jerseys, please? Because I like those, and I would like them to keep wearing them, but I would like the witch's hex to go away.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just more so just impressed at how good Carlos Rodon looked in his in yeah.
It's really
I know
good.
he does.
I need to see
Yes.
Lance Lynn in
Very
one. Come
flattering.
on.
It's very
Ooh,
flattering
yeah,
on
guys.
him.
He is a very attractive person, especially in those like tall socks. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was a good look.
That was a good look.
Fair.
I need Lance Lynn in a City Connect, and then they can get rid of him.
Yeah,
I need that just for
Yes.
like reasons.
I also need my
Sorry, Riley's
to get
upset.
one.
What? David's giving me dirty looks.
we all want to see it.
Everybody wants to see it.
White
He's just shaking
Sox,
his head.
put Lance Lynn in that uniform. We need it.
I need it
Badly.
for reasons.
I'm gonna put his picture in my locker.
Yeah. On my, I don't know, on my phone case, I guess.
I'm gonna put it in my
Maybe lock
closet
screen.
and make an altar to him.
I did save that
Oh my
picture, though, that it might be a lock screen one. The one we sent to Mikey. We were saying Tim Anderson looked good, yes, but did you see Carlos Rodon? Because yes, so it's saved on my phone for a potential lock screen. Sorry, Ashley, your husband is attractive in those uniforms.
I'm sure she knows. They
He does.
got 2 kids.
She knows.
I'm sure she knows.
I'll at her and tell her.
Their kids are cute as hell, though. Those kids are so fucking cute.
They are.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now
thank
that
you
we're all getting
guys.
restraining orders.
Thank
Yeah,
you
go
all for listening in to us today. We may or may not show up because we may have a restraining order next time, but we had fun getting it. And with that, we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.